welcome to Old Faithful. I'm your host, Matt Trask. My thanks to Haggerty's Music Works here on the Hill in Rapid City. My thanks to the incomparable Johnny Hastings, making us look good. My thanks to my daughter, Patty Jo. It was my birthday recently, and she got me this cap with a Yeti on it. It reminded me of when I lived with her. She said it reminded her that I was hairy, and I made the house smell funny. That's a joke. Please remember to like and subscribe and share this video if you in fact like and if you like it. And thank you for your support. Today we have a keyboard. Some of you will be delighted to see there's hardly room for me in this shot. I do believe this is the first keyboard on the show. Mr. Luke Graves, how are you today?
I'm doing great.
Luke Graves is yet another employee of the Haggerty's Music Works. We occasionally nab one of them, partly as a matter of convenience, but also because if you work at a music store, you probably got some chops. So why don't you just go ahead and tell us about you?
So yeah, I'm Luke Graves. I'm 17. I'm a musician here in town. I've been playing keyboard for about 6 years now. I started on trumpet in 5th grade with Johnny's mom as my teacher, actually.
How many of those have we had now? Johnny's mom taught everyone in town.
She's a great teacher, so well, I mean, you know, it makes sense.
We have established the fact that she is a great teacher.
She is a great teacher.
Hello, Miss Candy Hastings, if you're watching. We love you.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've been playing keyboard. I've been gigging around town. I was kind of peaking right when COVID hit, and then that kind of dropped off. But trying to transition more online due to everything going on. But yeah, I've just been trying to make a living playing keys, and that's kind of what I've just been striving for. And been working here at Haggerty's for about 4 months now.
Okay.
And
well, first things first. If you're 17. I don't want to hear a lot about how you were peaking. Well, there'll be another peak, buddy.
I was okay, yeah. I was peaking like the most I've ever peaked.
The before. Most you've ever peaked.
So far,
okay.
so
all
far.
Right.
Yep. I'm hoping to get way past that.
If it's all downhill after 17, yeah. My God, I am screwed, buddy. So, if you took, was it trumpet?
Yeah, I started on trumpet.
Trumpet lessons in the 5th grade from Candy Hastings.
Mm-hmm.
You're from here.
So yeah, I was actually born in Delaware.
Okay.
But when I was like a month old, we moved straight here. My dad was in the military, so he was stationed at Ellsworth, and so we moved here when I was just really young, and I've lived here all my life since.
Ever since. So your dad never got transferred, or?
He ended up retiring after about. Let's see. Well, he's in the military for 20 years. And So yeah, he ended up retiring, and then we got a house now in the valley, and we've pretty much lived there ever since.
I see.
So yeah.
So you're playing your trombone in the which school did you go to?
So I started trumpet when I was in 5th grade at.
Why do I keep doing that? It's been a long day.
It was at Rapid Valley Elementary.
Okay.
And then switched over to East Middle School when I got into middle school. And, funny story about that. That's where I started piano. There was they kind of had like a piano keyboarding class. And I was, as a trumpet player and just a musician, I was like, hey, that might help me and it'd be kind of fun. So I took it in 7th grade. And I was just like breezing through the books. And I was like, man, this is fun. But, once school was over in the summertime, I didn't mess with piano at all. Mm-hmm. But then I decided to take the class again my 8th grade year and continue playing. So then I continued getting better in what my English teacher, Richard Jones, if you're watching this, shout out to you. Mr. Jones, he was the English teacher, 8th grade English at East Middle School, and he was like, Luke, you're a keyboard player, right? I've heard like you're really good, and I'm garbage at the time. And, but I was like, oh yeah, I'm awesome, man. Trying to get in there because I don't know what kind of deal he had.
Fake it till you make it.
So exactly,
right.
And so he was like, I've been writing like the school song, and I want you to know your opinion and seeing if you can play it. So he played what he had, the school anthem, and it was a little rough when he showed it to me, and so I took a video of it on my phone. He's like, "You think you'll be able to learn that and and kind of help me with writing it?" And I'm like, "Sure." So I went home and I just watched his fingers and where he's pressing the notes and everything. And I learned the song. Well, after getting better at keyboard, I ended up adding to the song and changing it. And then we ended up writing lyrics for it. And, well, me and Mr. Jones wrote the school anthem for East Middle School, which they still play today.
Wow.
So so that was pretty cool. That was like my first big thing, and that's when he taught me a lot after school, like every day, because he was my last class of the day. We'd just jam after school.
Okay.
And he had a little keyboard. He ended up giving me that keyboard at the end of the year.
Wow.
Because he was like, "You're a good musician. You need to keep on playing." And so, thanks so much thanks to him, because he's really what got me into playing piano. So I had this little tiny crappy keyboard, but that's what I learned on. And
right.
I ended up splitting like the payment with me and my dad. We got another, which was a little bit better, it was a little bit bigger, and had semi-weighted keys. That was just like a Yamaha, staged like 350 or something like that. So, and then so once I started taking it a little bit more seriously, I started high school, and I played keys in this jazz band at Central.
Okay.
And well, the funny deal with that is I played for like a month in the school jazz band, and I hated it. I just did not like playing keys, and I was like, I'm gonna switch to valve trombone was actually my choice.
Oh.
And so we sat down. I wasn't gonna play keys anymore, and then Mr. Belsauce at Central, he told me, like, Luke, you just gotta stick with it, man. He's like, I feel like once you play a little bit more and you get comfortable, you'll enjoy it. So I took his word, and I sat down, and I continued playing, and well, I really enjoyed it, in fact, and now I'm making a living out of it. And so thanks to him, and he's taught me so much, and so did Mr. Rath when he was still around at Central too, and ended up in my sophomore year of high school making it in the all-state jazz band, and so top 3 in the state.
Wow.
And so my sophomore year, and that was pretty crazy because at that time I'd only been playing keyboard for about 3 years.
Sure.
And so, and only been going up since then, playing with some big names here in town, and just recently been doing more solo stuff, just because my style is really all over the place. I don't really have a genre that I'd say I play mostly. I qualify as a jazz pianist because that's what I mostly play.
Right.
But it's weird, and I just like hitting notes and making music.
Right. So when you started playing more keyboards, did your trumpet playing fall off, or did you keep up on the trumpet?
It was after my freshman year. It was kind of a weird deal. So when I was getting really good at trumpet, and I made like first chair festival bands like 7th and 8th grade, which here in town is like, they take all the students who are in like middle schooler at the time, and like they auditioned and see who makes like first, second, third chair and going on. So I got first out of like 24 kids like 2 years in a row. And so I kind of got cocky. I was like, man, I'm such a good trumpet player, I don't even have to practice anymore. Like I got it set, And so I ended up getting really cocky with that. So I stopped practicing pretty much, and I just play, whenever I had a gig or played at school and whatever. And my freshman year, well, I started getting worse. Kids started getting better than me. Right. And it kind of demotivated me, and I was like, man, I don't know. And so for the first time, I was like third chair, and I was playing second part, in the concert band. And I was playing all these harmonies and parts that I wasn't used to, because trumpet's always out there playing the melody. And I was like, man, I hate playing second trumpet because I like being first, but I like playing these harmony notes, or like,
right.
And I was like, this is cool because I've never played that kind of music before.
Right.
So I was like, you know what? I'm going to switch instruments, find an instrument that's really hard, fun to play, and like no one else plays, and just kind of hold down like a bass line. And so I asked Mr. Rath, I was like, what's an instrument that you want in your band that you don't currently have? He was like, bassoon. And I was like, can I switch to bassoon? And so he was like, sure. So he got me a bassoon, and I started taking lessons for a little bit, and I picked up the bassoon, which is a double reed instrument, which is about the hardest instrument to learn, and it's still just it's just crazy. There's no like patterns to the fingerings or anything. It's weird, and it's just awful in every way possible. It's awful, but it's just such a beautiful instrument.
Right.
Absolutely beautiful. And so I stuck with it, and I've been playing, and I love playing that in the concert band because you kind of get a mix of playing the bass line, holding it down, but also shoving in harmonies and even melodies at some point, because the range is like 5 octaves. It's crazy. Huh. And so, it's just a beautiful instrument. I love playing it. So I've really been taking that more seriously recently, as I'm probably going to double major in college for bassoon and piano.
So I'm seeing a picture of a guy who just really loves to have a part in a musical group.
Yeah.
And more, even at 17, you don't have to have the shining star part.
No, I really just like playing music, and although I like being the star of the show, because who doesn't like being the star? But I just like being in groups, and that's kind of the deal. Is I've probably played a gig in every genre just because I like being part of the group, even if I don't like the music. Like I'm not the biggest country fan. Like I'll play country music, and there's certain country songs I love to listen to, but the genre in itself, it's hit or miss for me. And but man, I've played.
Fans.
I know, right? I know. I'm offending so many people. But I played plenty of different country stuff, just kind of playing chords and things like that, just because I love playing music and being up on a stage and just playing. But that's the thing. I'm in so many, or was, I guess, now that going around. But I used to be in so many different bands, just kind of going from place to place, and I still am doing that, just kind of hopping from group to group and just playing. And so, I just really like being a part of things and just playing as much as I can.
Have you been able to get into over 21 establishments around here?
I have. I've played at quite a few bars. It's kind of a tricky deal. So, like, I'll call up the place, let's say, like I've played at the Speakeasy a few times,
Okay.
So I'll call up and I'll be like, hey, I'm Luke Graves. I'm a pianist. I'm looking for a spot. And they're like, oh, sweet, a piano player? Like, awesome. And then they're like, so how old are you? I'm like, I'm 17. And they'll be like, all right, we're not interested. Hang up the phone.
Right.
It's like they're just not interested.
Right.
So then I get, like, my music friends who I've played with, I don't know. I'm not going to name drop here or anything. But, someone who, like, has a good rep in the music. And so I'll be like, hey, can you send in a word for me at the Speakeasy or something like that? And then they'll call me back and be like, Luke Graves, so we looked at your Instagram and, man, it'd be a pleasure to have you come and play. And so it's like, it was so hard. But once I started playing with some bigger names, I was able to get in those places.
Sure. Yeah.
So it was really rough, and I mean it's rough today. People turning down, and so a lot of the times I'll be like, I'm 22. Most of the time I just try not to say anything, and then once I'm in there, they'll be like, that kid's 17. Oh, well, he's already here.
Right.
And so I try not to bring it up too much when I play at those establishments, but
sure.
I get in there. I get in there and I try to play. So, and that's the thing in Rapid. I mean, those are about the only places you can play.
Right.
We don't have any big like music venues in itself. Just a lot of bars and things like that.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Nothing like what we all want there to be.
I know, exactly. Every musician here wants a place like that.
There was for a while the Cave.
Yeah, the Cave.
And
I played at the Cave.
Will rise again.
I know. I'm really excited if once they get a new venue. I mean, that'll be so sweet. I played at the Cave a few times. I played with my group, which was Luke and the Gents, which was a funk fusion jazz group.
Okay.
That was just crazy, and it was a 4-person band. It was me, a saxophone player, a bass, and a drummer. And we were going off. We loved playing that, and we were really opening the genre to funk fusion, because not a lot of people even know what funk fusion is. And so we were playing at like punk concerts and like weird concerts that the people were not there for funk fusion.
Right.
But by the end of the show, they were going on their phones and looking up funk fusion.
Well, the people didn't know what funk fusion was before they got
that's the deal. And so we were gaining some in audience and things like that. And unfortunately, my drummer, Eli Strong, he ended up moving away to Texas.
Oh.
And so we were without a drummer. And so we kind of had to disband the group for a while. So we still practice every once in a while. We've been kind of switching drummers in and out and kind of trying to find someone who's because funk fusion's about the hardest thing a drummer can play.
Right.
And so trying to find someone that has the big enough groove is really hard, because that's all about feel,
Actually, I wouldn't know, but if you say so, I'm knowing so much about funk fusion over here.
Oh yeah, I know.
Myself.
I can tell you're an expert.
Right. Me and funk fusion go way back.
Oh, I know.
You've done such a spectacular job of just taking the ball and running with it. I love it. Generally, I ask my guests during a pause, which you've given me almost none.
I'm sorry. I love talking, man. I love going on.
It.
When it's about music, I can't help myself.
And I'm having fun just listening. But usually I ask my guests if music ran in their family.
Yeah.
At some point. I asked them.
I didn't have the most musical family. My brothers they all picked up an instrument. In fact, my oldest brother is kind of a musical theater, so he does more singing and acting.
Okay.
My dad really didn't do much musical. He did pick up the ukulele in the last year. He's gotten quite good at it, actually.
Well, cool.
He has like 4 or 5 now, and it's kind of crazy. But he's a great ukulele player. And my mom played like flute in high school, but no one who's really taken it to, I guess, an extent like I have.
Right.
But, well, I'd say we're all somewhat musical in a sense.
Right.
Everyone likes music, and everyone has played an instrument at some point in their life.
Sure. So you could theoretically at some point do a show of like show tunes with your brother as the vocalist.
Yeah. I mean, he does a lot more in the acting scene,
Okay.
And then, when I guess the
Not
the
so
scene
much
arises.
singing.
Well, he does sing, and he's a great
Right.
singer.
Okay.
But I guess I haven't ever taken that in consideration. But,
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he is a good singer, but he's definitely more in the better acting scene. And
Okay.
So
All
he's
right.
a great actor. Yeah.
Sure.
I love seeing his plays and everything. And so.
Well, cool. Is he in high school then still?
No, he graduated from college.
Oh, okay. Oh.
22 now. I got
Okay.
3 brothers.
All right.
So yep. Well, one was in the military for a while. One is a welder, and the other one is he's a graphic designer / musical theater actor.
Okay.
So,
All right.
Yeah.
Well, we should probably get on to this gleaming white keyboard here, which, if I'm keeping score, is your third.
This is my 3rd keyboard. I bought it last summer from the money I made at the rally. I worked at a little food tent up at the rally for 2 weeks, and I got enough money then, and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to hunker down, buy a really nice keyboard.
Sure.
So I went with Arturia. I was going to go with Nord, because Nords are just amazing. You do so much with them, but they're also, it's enough to pay off your mortgage as well.
Right.
And so it's like, I didn't want to spend exactly that much on my keyboard, but I wanted to go with an extent. So I did my research, and I ended up getting this one. It's an Arturia Keylab 88 Mark II.
Okay.
And the big reason why I got this keyboard is because of all the software on this guy right here.
Uh-huh.
So this guy came with probably about $800 worth of software for free, just because I got the instrument. And it gets updated about yearly. And in fact, I've been telling the guys around the store here how there was an update that came on December 10th for this keyboard. And it's like buying a new keyboard, but I didn't spend a dime. Just the update came, and there's so many new sounds. There's like 6,000 new sounds from this update. And like, I didn't do anything. It just updates regularly, And so I get all these crazy features that, they keep pumping out without even spending any money.
Well, that's pretty cool. Have you got around to trying the 6,000 new sounds?
I haven't tried all 6,000, but I have found quite a few that I like.
All right.
Unfortunately, I don't have the software downloaded on this laptop. I have it on my PC at home.
Oh, okay.
But I'd have the old software that came with this keyboard, which still is amazing. And it's the same thing, just not quite, to the modern standards of today. But it's still there, and it's still wonderful, and I love the sounds that come out of this thing.
So, oftentimes on these digital things with a computer program in them, there'll be kind of large banks of different presets.
So, yeah, and
so sometimes you can pick 1,000 that you're not going to be interested in. And is that the case?
In that, I kind of look through. They have it set up to where you can see different like instruments. So like if I only want to play a key sound or like a piano sound, I can click piano, and it lists all the different piano sounds, and then I just like the ones that I like. Sometimes I'll be bored and I'll just skip through them and find one that I like, and then every once in a while I'll be like, man, that's inspiring, and then I go play off on it, and then I'll like it, and then I can go back to my likes and find it later, or I can add it to a playlist. Certain songs. It has a nice stage feature to where you can set different sounds in as like your stage. So when you go on stage, you have like if you have 5 songs and you have a different sound for each song, you can set them. So then I can just sit here and then press a button, and then I'm on my next sound.
Okay.
So I can set the 5 out of the the 16,000 that there are.
So here's a question, because it more or less looks like a piano. It's a keyboard after all. How many piano sounds does it come with?
The piano sounds, I mean, I could check here exactly how many it has. I mean, the mains, you can kind of see right here how many there are in there.
That's a lot.
That's quite a bit. And then there's more in my other softwares, but this is the one I use mostly. And so today I have it set on the Japanese Grand Solo.
Nothing wrong with the old Japanese Grand Solo.
Exactly, that's what I'm saying.
Right.
No, but there's a bunch of different sounds, but the Japanese Grand is one of the presets that they have, and that's kind of what I like the most.
Okay.
And it's kind of modeled after, the big, I'm trying to think of the specific model that they used. I can't think of it off the top of
Is
my
it
head.
a Yamaha or a Suzuki?
I'm pretty sure it's a Suzuki
Okay.
brand that they model the Japanese off of. They model a bunch of different ones that they have. The three big that they have an American brand, a German brand, and a Japanese brand.
Okay.
They do that
Right.
for copyright reasons,
Right,
obviously.
yeah.
But those are the three. So I personally like the sound of the Japanese brand.
Like
so.
every pedal preset company that has a green screamer.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, yeah.
So
So this thing does 6,000 keyboard sounds. I bet it has percussion.
It does have percussion, which comes to this side of the keyboard, which is
look
pads.
at there.
So you can actually map it. I do a little bit music producing myself,
Right.
And I use Ableton, and on Ableton you can map the different pads to a certain sound.
Okay.
So you can actually tap on the pads, and these ones light up. Like it's set on a piano sound right now. But,
Okay.
So you go through, and you're
Right.
hitting the pads, and you're making the drum sounds. And so I did that for a while, but I own a drum set now and some nice
Okay.
mics, so I don't use it as much. But
Sure.
if I'm going for electronic drum sounds, then I'll use that. They're
Cool.
nice pads.
Does it have preset rhythms as well? If you wanted to just jam or something?
Not really. In fact, it doesn't. I don't have the software that Arturia has for their drumming. I use
okay.
a third party, but I'm sure how much I love Arturia that I'd love their drum presets as
Right.
well. But I use a third party.
Okay.
Thing,
All right.
So,
Sure.
but yeah, I love this keyboard, and Arturia really focuses on synth sounds.
Okay.
And so there's just a cajillion of those. But I really love that the sounds that they have for their keys and their pianos. But every once in a while when I'm working on a song and I need a good synth sound, there's always one that I can find inside
Sure.
the bank.
So in the funk fusion concern, were you using synth sounds?
I use synths quite a bit in the Funk Fusion. In fact, I can even pull up a few of the sounds that I use in my last Funk Fusion show that I did. I just name them whatever the name of the song is. So one of my favorites that I have here, I'll pull it up. It's called "Thank You and Good Night." It was funny. We played this song the second to last one, so it
Right.
seemed like "Thank You and Good Night," and we'd be like, this is the end of the show, and we'd make
Right.
it seem like it's the end of the show, and then we'd be like, we have one more, and so that sound, I can pull it up here. Sounds like this. It might be a little loud, Johnny. And then you can do mod stuff.
Oh, look at there.
With the pitch
Wow. Thank you and good night.
and thank you and good night. Yeah. And so there's a bunch of different stuff, and then you mess with weird stuff like that. But another one I love is a whirly sound, a whirly wonders.
Okay.
That's what I use quite a bit in funk.
Okay.
And then I also just have like my basic like electric piano sound. Like that one's gonna sound a little rough. Just gonna be a little bit softer,
Right. Little 80s.
And with the nice thing about Arturia is I don't have the new software, but I've been messing with it. They actually have preset pedals that you can plug into each sound.
Oh.
So I've been doing that quite a bit recently, where I'll have like a sound like this, just a basic electronic piano, and I'll add like their distortion pedals or their flangers and things like that. And man, I love their pedal selection. And in fact, it just completely removes any pedals that I would use normally, and now it's just all digital.
Oh, right there.
Which is amazing, yeah. And so I'm really liking that their pedal selection, and it just sounds amazing. I've been wanting a good Rhodes sound with distortion, and man, Arturia definitely came through.
Really?
So I can't talk. I know I sound like an Arturia dealer here. I just really love what they have.
Well, we like that here on the show, where
yeah.
somebody found the instrument they like.
So
And it's white. It's 88 keys. It says
88
right in the
keys,
name.
yep.
Are these keys weighted?
it's fully weighted. In fact, it even has touch responses too. So where I'll hold a note, and when I left off, it'll also add another hit into it. So you can get really creative with things. So like I'll press a sound, it'll make one sound, and when I lift off, it'll make a different.
Okay.
It has a bunch of different crazy features, and in fact, I can't even think of all the features off the top of my head. That I used to know because I used to be bragging about my keyboard all the time.
Yeah.
But it's been so long now. Just a fantastic keyboard, and I love it.
Is it, most of them are designed this way, and I'm sure this one is too. It's highly portable. And Light enough weight?
This one, that's the one thing I don't like about this keyboard.
Okay.
It's super heavy.
Hey,
it is
finding the problem since 1978.
It is ridiculously heavy, but they do, in fact, I mean, this is their biggest model, and it has all the crazy features.
Okay.
And so they do make like essential versions that are where like still 88 keys, but just has like, it doesn't have all the fancy bits on the top.
Okay.
And those are very portable and light. And so I got the big crazy one because I like playing big crazy stuff.
Crazy.
Exactly. But there's so many models out there that shorten the keys. They shorten, which kind of pads you want, if you want pads or not, or if you want all the knobs.
Okay.
So I went all out and I got their biggest and best one.
Sure.
But it is a little bit heavy, but honestly, all keyboards that are this big are heavy anyway. So, I mean, it's not that big of a problem. I got wheels on my case. I just wheel it around.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Did it came with a wheeled case?
It did not. I had to buy that separately.
Okay.
And in fact, I didn't buy it. I'm stealing the school's one.
Oh.
But they know I have.
They know.
They know.
Okay. All right.
They know.
Cool.
But I kind of just take it whenever I need it and bring it back. But
there's really would be no need to talk about how it does on stage. I'm sure it does very well.
Yeah, I do. It's a great stage piano, and I mean that's mostly why I got this is because I really wanted a good stage piano, but also as it works, it's a great MIDI controller, and in fact that's what Arturia kind of promotes itself at is big MIDI controllers. So it really helps when I'm producing music and stuff like that to have that.
Sure.
So, Yep.
You bet. Do we need to talk about anything else?
I can't think of anything off the top of my head. I mean, if you have any more questions, hit me with them.
You've done well. I could almost took a nap over here while you talked. This has been an excellent show. You're going to play us out after I get done saying words? Dang it. Now I need to think of a keyboard player. Never mind. We'll dispense with that because they don't change their strings anyway. Thank you for watching. I'm Matt Trask. Remember my sponsorship with Trask Hay LLC, large round and square bales, 515-0858. Thank you and good night, Mr. Luke Graves. Can you play us out? Perfect. Could you play us a little of that school song that you
I can play the school song.
You don't have to play the whole thing.
Let me think
but we really should.
So yeah, I'm not gonna sing.
Okay.
But just so you know, it's East Middle School.
Okay.
Is how it starts.
East Middle School, and the teacher's name was
Richard Jones.
Richard Jones. Woo! Go East!
Go East!
The Fighting what?
The Raptors. Is
The
what
Fighting
they are.
Raptors. Go East! All right. Thank you, Luke.
Thank you, Matt.